And just shouted out from Los Angeles, St. James in the city. I would love everyone, feel free to drop in the chat where you're zooming in from today. Thank you all for being here. My name is Adam Maggio, and I am the managing director of San Francisco Bay Area Theater Company, or SFBATCO, as most of us know. I am in my home here in San Francisco. And over in the rehearsal studio, we've got Rodney and Christine. Why don't you guys introduce yourself?
Hey, Rodney Earl Jackson Jr., artistic director, co-founder, director, and singer, I to Sing America.
Yes, I'm Christine Chung. I am the director of operations at SFBATCO, and for the show for I to Sing America, I'm the director of choreography, and I'm also dancing in the show.
Awesome. Well, Rodney, why don't you just start? Tell us just a quick little overview. Who's SFBATCO? How did we get here?
How did we get here? It was like a song from the Rent the musical.
10 years.
My goodness, 10 years. We got here from a lot of passion, a lot of thoughts, a lot of prayers, a lot of a lot of people who have like-mindedness and who are artists and who care about what we're doing and what we've been doing and trying to, find that space, carve that space for them in the Bay Area and in San Francisco. That's how we got here. So SFBATCO, 10-year-old theater company. We make plays, we make musicals, we help to develop artists, we work with young artists, we mentor folks, we make art here in San Francisco. We're trying to revitalize the city. And we've been doing that for now 9 and some change years, going to be 10 years this September. Got our start at the African American Art and Culture Complex in the Fillmore. We had a residency there. Then we moved over to the Brava Theater, which is where our home is now, which is where this wonderful show, I to Sing America, was restaged the second time we did it.
Yeah.
I was thinking about all the different places and spaces we've done this show. It's really, really remarkable. Over the years, we've produced shows that some have just seen, Sign My Name to Freedom, which is at Z Space. We've produced shows called How to Be a White Man, La Posarela, Salt, Pepper, Ketchup, The Crooked Room, so many different things, my goodness.
Yeah.
And I Just Sing America several times. Last year, we put up Private. And now we have the New Roots Theater Festival, which is a festival of new works and a way for us to communicate and activate the community of nonprofits and theater companies in the Bay Area. So we do a lot of that stuff. We do a lot of producing, a lot of it in community, a lot of it for community, a lot of it by community. So that's SFBATCO in a nutshell.
And Rodney co-founded it. I don't know if you said that,
but
yeah, back in the day with Marcelo, Javier.
Back in the day, we were in New York in a bar. Like he was producing a play off Broadway, I was producing something playing the French Festival. We were like just fresh out of college, and we had a dream of like producing and creating work at home, because we're from here in San Francisco, where our roots are, this space that made us the artists who we are, bringing all the stuff that we've learned around the country and the world and bringing it back to our hometown, San Francisco, back to the Bay. So that is what and who SFBATCO is. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah. It's an inspiring part of the BATCO story to me that you and Marcelo are from here, that you went off to college, went off and did theater in New York, but all you wanted was to come back home and make art here with people in your community and find a way to keep people from feeling like they needed to flee in order to be artists here and sustain their lives here, that they felt like they had to go to New York or LA or Chicago or somewhere else. And you're like, no, you can stay here and be here in community, and we can make it work and be sustainable here too.
Because we tried it too.
Yeah.
We went out, we did the work, we tried it. We were in the New York scene. We were like, I made it to Broadway. Marcelo was on a tour. We understand what that world is, and we understand what just creation is and being respected as an artist is. And that's what we wanted to create here, the foundation of what does it mean to be fully sustainable and to be an artist that lives in a major city. It's a hard thing.
I love that. And Christine, tell us a little bit about I to Sing America and how it started and how it kind of brought you to SFBATCO.
Yeah, so the original production of I to Sing America was in 2018 at the AAACC, the African American Art and Culture Complex. But I feel like the origin story goes back again to when Rodney was a kid, to when Adam was a kid, and Marcelo, our other co-founder, and Jamie Uenshaw, who also did theater with all of you when you were children, at all these youth arts programs throughout the city. And Jamie was the original co-creator of the show and original director. And they had this amazing music teacher, music director, Othello Jefferson, when they were kids, who taught them music throughout their childhood. And then when Backhoe was starting, he also would come and play in shows for the company. And so they were ready to put on another show. And they went to Othello and said, you've supported us throughout our childhood into adulthood as we're trying to build this community in theater as adults. But what is a show that you want to make? They wanted to support him and his artistic endeavors. And at the time, he just had two new girls, baby girls. And he said he was reading them a book of poetry called I To Sing America that had that poem by Langston Hughes and other Black poets throughout centuries of American history. And he was saying, I would love to put some of this to music. I'm inspired by my kids, and I'd love to use this text and create something. So with that nugget of an idea, Jamie and Othello like dug into poetryfoundation.org, just like went deep in American poetry and found a bunch of different poems from a wide range of perspectives and experiences and backgrounds, and started composing music to it, and then pulled me in as the choreographer. I met Jamie, the original director, in college in our freshman dorm, and we danced together and would go see theater shows together. And so she pulled me into choreograph. And then we had our first auditions. I remember we didn't know who would show up at all. We were pulling from our friends and from different communities, and we were blown away by the artists that showed up, the singing talent, the dance talent, and like the heart and generosity of all these people. So we just started building this stuff, and then turns out a lot of those people are composers, a lot of those people are poets, a lot of them are choreographers. And we needed all these different people because there's so many different styles of music and styles of dance that we were pulling in to tell this wide-ranging story. So then we like pulled it all in, and we created this show in 2018 at the AACC, and it felt so good to do it, and it felt so good for the audiences. And then we did it again in 2019 in a bigger space at the Brava Theater in the Mission. And then we did it again. We took 2 years off from doing it essentially during the pandemic. And then in 2022, we did it for a third time at the Brava again. And then last year, we co-produced it with SF Arts Education Program with a bunch of children. And that was a beautiful production. And we're back again to do it at Grace Cathedral. So we've been moving it around a bunch. Yeah. And outside of that too, I feel like a lot of people in the city and organizations have asked us to perform excerpts of this at different parades and like Juneteenth events and the Cherry Blossom Festival. So it's been everywhere. It's like.
Yeah, I love what you said about it being such a collaborative process and coming to be through everyone, this huge group of 30 or however many artists you brought together for that first one, and someone being like, well, I know this kind of dance, I can choreograph this section, and oh, well, I have, I tend to sing this style, so I'm gonna make this section. And we actually have Maya and Marissa in the chat right now. You guys can't see the chat. Maya and Marissa are here. They're two content creators for I To Sing America, songwriters, incredible artists. But yeah, I think that's definitely one of the things that makes the show special. And Rodney, I wonder, can you talk a little bit more about why this show is special to you? I mean, it's kind of rare for a company our size to do the same show repeatedly. So why do we keep doing it?
Because everyone keeps asking for it. But seriously, why do people ask for something? Because it resonates with them.
Yeah.
And we're not like, well, we can't say no. We want to work on other things, of course, but community is speaking to us. Christine just laid out the history of us doing this show in the San Francisco Bay Area for the past, I want to say 6-ish years, since 2018. So that's almost 6 years at the end of this year. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
This summer will be 6 years. We've done this at the Cherry Blossom Festival. We've done this at the Juneteenth in Bayview, AACC, the Mission. Now we're going to be in a place of worship. I feel like people speak to us and we resonate. We are designed to be a voice box of theater for the community. And I feel like this show specifically speaks to community because it's about not just about identity, but it's about representation and about the wholeness of that. Often our identities are twisted and turned into the parts of trauma that they exude and that they showcase. This show does not do that. This show highlights the beauty of who we are. And though there's struggle, because we will not ignore the struggle, there's light, that our theater can showcase, and not just the depth of the dark side. We go to the depth, but we also reach the light, which I think people resonate with, because we like to go to the theater to enjoy ourselves and to also reflect real life. And I think I Just Sing America is a good intersection of doing both of those things.
Yeah, and at the first day of rehearsal last week, Othello asked everyone to go around the circle and say why they were back to do it again, because the majority of our cast is returning cast.
Yeah.
And that keeps happening time and time again. We do bring in new people as well, but a lot of folks have been with us since 2018. And there's something about this show that just feels so healing and good to be a part of and to perform it. But I also think it goes both ways. We have returning audience members who have come and seen the show, seen every iteration of it, come back time and time again. And I think there's something that they're getting out of it too every single time. It's like a really special show where it's like it doesn't just feel good for the performers.
Yeah.
It like feels good for the audience to be there too, and for all the creators. There's just this like magic that happens when we're all there together. And yeah, it's just like a special thing. And every time we've done it, we've also added new pieces with all the new people that have come in, like Maya and Marissa have added new pieces along the way. Yeah,
I think
feels good.
What I love when I'm thinking about it right now, it's become so like site specific for the Bay Area too. It like has molded to these different areas, that calls it to it. It's almost like it's healing in spaces. It's coming around, touching different spaces in the city, like not claiming them, but having a conversation with them. And I think it's really, really awesome, especially when we talk about the revitalization of San Francisco, people leaving the city, who belongs in the city. And we're like, well, this is our city. These people who look, sing, dance like us are right here, right now in all of these public spaces, physically. And I think that really means something.
And it meant a lot to do it with the kids.
Oh, man.
Rodney said he was crying at every rehearsal last year, seeing these kids learn all of our new songs. And
a lot of them are better than us. Yeah, their work ethic is really inspiring. It's like that next generation. That's also why we keep doing this. Adam and I grew up, and Jamie, as kids of San Francisco Arts Education, and we started to do these alumni shows with them, where all those young people in our company, because now we're like in our 20s and 30s, and they're in their young teens and adolescents, and we're working together, pre-professionals and professionals, and building that bridge, and creating incredible art together, not kiddie theater, but real exceptional work. So that's why we keep doing this play.
Yeah. I forgot to say, by the way, please feel free to type any questions you might have in the Q&A function of the Zoom, and we will definitely get to those later in the session. But I wanted to just read, as Christine said, the Othello Jefferson, who composed most of the music, he asked the cast why they keep coming back, and I took some notes on what folks said, and they said things like, it feels like medicine, it heals me, it feels like a celebration of us, I can celebrate my people and my story instead of telling a story of trauma, I will do this show as long as I'm physically able. There are a few shows that you're always thinking about. This is one of those for me, one of those shows I never want to let go of. So it's amazing to see how deeply all the artists involved can connect to it. And one of those points of connection is the music, this beautiful score that Othello composed most of, but again, it was collaborative. Many people contributed. Rodney, can you talk a little about the music and the different styles of music that audiences will hear?
Yeah, a friend once referenced it as a soulful symphony. We were like, whoa, that's a great way of describing it, because it's an encapsulation of so much music. I think Othello's influences, he was one of my first music teachers, and I would tell him, you taught me how to sing back when I was in middle school, like what really singing was, as my voice was changing. And this man has just inspired so many of us young artists through his musical life, through classical music, show tunes, gospel. He plays the organ for his church. And then I think there's this like modern R&B, rhythm and blues, like all of these different influences make up what I Just Sing America is. Then there's also like a Latin fusion, Then there's sometimes a different kind of, uniqueness. He's just putting different layers of music all together. He likes to be intricate and complicated sometimes. I'll say that as one of the singers of his songs. They're wild, which is so cool. They're not simple, but they're specific. He really listens to the words. He thinks about what the poet is trying to say with those words. He wants his music to be a layer that's added, not something that's taking away from it. And that's why I think he's so thoughtful, one of the best composers. And he's very, very a man who takes his time.
Mm-hmm.
I know Jamie tells the story of having to go bring him to her apartment and sit down with him to like, all right, we're working on the We Wrote Cool song today. I need you to sit with me for 2 hours with this poem that is only 16 words. Mm-hmm. It's a short poem, and it's now a 3-minute long song. Yeah. Like, how did that happen? But you guys got to come and figure that out. Come and see the show. But yeah, Othello's music is out of this world. Again, I think it's one of the main reasons why people keep coming back.
Yeah.
The whole.
And it was interesting hearing from Jamie and Othello about the process of picking the poems, because there were some poems that lent themselves to be easily turned into a song. Mm-hmm. And then there were some that Othello was struggling with, but they knew they wanted in the show. And so he would ask people like Maya and Marissa, who are in the Zoom right now, he was like, they are better at turning this type of poetry and lyrics into a song. So then he asked them to do it, and they created these like beautiful harmonies, these like a cappella pieces. So it was interesting to hear their process on that. And I know Jamie recorded a lot of those sessions together that are really cool to listen back on, of them just like working through all this stuff. And then like finally hearing the final piece in the show or like in our album is really cool.
We do have an album, by the way, so you guys can listen to the songs if you want. Spotify and iTunes and all that jazz. Look up iTunes Sing America. And it's not all the songs. It's maybe
10 of them. Yeah, so just a couple.
And Christine, can you just talk a little bit about the different styles of dance? And I know you always say, I'm not the choreographer, I'm the director of choreography, because everyone choreographs. So can you talk a little bit about the process of creating the dance and what styles of dance are represented?
Yeah, and even just that title change happened while we were making the show. Jamie asked me to be the choreographer. And then once I heard all the different styles of music and saw all the different dancers that we had in that audition room who came from so many different backgrounds, it just made sense that we all would collaborate together to make all these pieces. I mean, Rodney talked about one kind of like Latin song. We have like a salsa piece. We have a lot of jazz and musical theater, and then even some like more classical contemporary ballet. And then we have hip hop too. So we've got like a wide variety of movement. And again, each time we did it, if we had like a new hip hop dancer, we had this guy, Johnny, who came in and he was more like of a tutter, hopper. And like he came in and brought that into it too. We had one who was like more of a K-pop dancer who brought that energy. So really it was built on the dancers that come and join us for each cast. But it's cool because we all do like a variety of stuff. I was like learning salsa moves and learning hip hop moves that I'd never done before. And so everyone just came from unique backgrounds, but it all like brought it together in like a beautiful way. Usually you want people with a similar background to be in a dance cast so it looks cohesive, but there's something about seeing the same movement on so many different bodies who have different backgrounds in dance, like doing the same movement that also like brought it together in a weird way. It was really cool. Yeah, I love that part of the show.
Yeah. Dancer, hip hop dancer, contemporary dancer, all
doing the same stuff. And then getting to like highlight them and having them show off what they can do. And then also doing stuff together.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, we had a question come through, which is actually happens to be very similar to the next question on my list. So Sarah said, I love this musical and saw it twice. What inspired you guys to work with Grace Cathedral? That's so cool. So Rodney, talk a little bit about the Grace Cathedral move and what excites you the most about bringing it to an iconic, gorgeous venue like Grace Cathedral.
Well, Grace is incredible. Such an honor for us to be stepping into this incredible iconic space, as you say. Like my graduating class, School of the Arts 2008, graduated next door to this church, and I've never been inside of it until we were coming to do this project. Lived in this city for 33 years and never walked inside of it. And I heard a story when we were there with Rebecca and April, and she talked about how Duke Ellington performed on this stage, on the, the front of the Grace Cathedral church, he, in the 60s, a Black jazz singer, was welcomed to the Grace Cathedral. That's so meaningful. A place of stereotypical conservatism that doesn't see outside of their norm is allowing all of this new aged art. And I'm like, that is a place of worship in San Francisco if I know one. When I'm so honored to be putting our art, our people, our artists in this space, communicating with Grace Cathedral. And I think it's just the beginning. I think that excites me the most, which also excites me, honestly, is that Othello is a man of faith and plays at his church. And all of that is influenced in his music as well. That gospel reigns true through all of us. When these harmonies are sung and the dancers are moving, it's undeniable that it belongs in this spiritual place. The play has its own kind of spirit. And then again, it being site specific, we're like working with like the area that exists there to create the show. We're like not building a set or anything. We're like, what do we look like with this? What does that look like when we combine our dance and our music in this space? Speaking of music, the echo, or what do you want to call the reverb of what Grace Cathedral has is incredible. So we're gonna just be ruminating, like the sound is just gonna be combusting out of the top of the church, and I just can't wait for that.
Okay, for both of you guys, really quick, this was another question that came in. What part of the musical speaks to you personally the most? A song, or a dance, or a line?
We both have specific features in the show.
Yeah, we do. It's interesting because this piece is not part of my background, but it's just like always a memory I'll have of performing this piece. It's a piece called Bloodline that Maya and Marissa and Jocelyn wrote together. That's about being from a mixed family, racially, culturally, ethnically. And it's a beautiful, beautiful piece. And I just have this moment of being on stage and looking out at the audience and seeing people just sobbing, people that I recognize from our board, from my friends who I know have mixed families. And there was just like a moment just seeing their story reflected on stage that just like really struck me. And so even though I don't come from that identity, they're just like seeing that connection really moved me. And that's just like a memory I'll never forget.
Mm-hmm. This is such a hard. Why do I have to answer this? That was a great answer. Can you stick with that? I'm like, oh, that moment. Okay, no,
there's so many. Yeah.
I kind of get on the ride with the show, and I love so much of it. Once we finish, I think a crowd favorite is Daddy's Arms.
Yes.
And I've sang that song from the beginning since 2018. And I think what's so beautiful about that is that there are not lots of beautiful representations of Black fathers in the world. And Othello was very adamant in being one, that he was like, no, we're gonna have a song that can have that true representation. He talked about, for his daughter's sake, he's like, they need to have something to look at that is not just what's on the social media. What other examples and images can they reference as to what it means to be a wonderful, powerful, courageous, sensitive, loving, multidimensional human being in the world. And I think that's so awesome. And I love that Daddy's Arms is like trying to help to break those stereotypes about what Black men in the society are.
Yeah, okay, I just remembered one more thing. A standout piece for me in the show is actually I Too. It's the one that Rodney sings. And that song is like the pillar of our show. It's I Too Sing America by Langston Hughes. And whenever we get to all leave the stage and Rodney is singing that song solo on stage and all these other voices come in, and I just get to like sit back and enjoy that number. And the emotional arc it takes you on is just this like crazy journey of like anger and sadness, and then ultimate like growth and joy and pride and all these things, and like looking to the future. And that peak, that climax of this part of the show, like really gets me into like the second half of the show. So I always watch,
We're going
and then
now.
we like hit the rest of the show. So that always backstage is like the one I always have to watch too.
I used to do this show. I used to do the show and not have to do the number beforehand, so I would prepare. And now I have to do all those numbers. It's like a marathon, but it feels right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Christine. Yeah, that's a good moment.
Christine, what do you hope people take away from leaving Grace Cathedral after the show?
Aw. I mean, people always leave clapping and singing along and dancing as they exit. So I hope to see a lot of that. That last finale song gets stuck in people's heads, and they're always singing it at us as we're exiting, and we see people in the lobby. So this like sense of joy and community. There's this like sense of solidarity and coexistence that you'll see on the stage and you'll feel. And I just hope people feel that with us and see us being reflected, see themselves being reflected, and just like feel a true, genuine sense of connection with us. Because it feels like a really true show.
Rodney?
You know, I was thinking about, you went to see the comet, didn't you?
Oh, the eclipse. The solar eclipse.
You went and saw the solar eclipse.
Yeah.
And I was watching an interview where a lady was like, it felt like we were all whole in this one moment. I felt like though we have so much going on in the world, because we were all sitting here and witnessing and experiencing, we felt alive.
Yeah.
Like, and our problems are our problems, and you're different and we're different, and we believe in whatever. But in this moment, we felt some kind of solidarity, I think is the word. And I think that I want people to have that effect and that feeling. I think I've noticed that happen. You know, people come from all different ages, demographics, sexualities, all of it, socioeconomics, and there's a piece of wholeness that I think people feel when they leave our theater.
I love it. All right, well, I think we're gonna pop into the rehearsal room now. I know that's the reason why everybody's here. They want to see a little sneak.
All right, let's hop on over
Let's do
there.
it. We'll see you over there.
Look at technology working. Any other questions? Please feel free to pop them into the Q&A, and we'll answer a couple more questions after we pop in and out of the rehearsal room, and then we will send you on your way to enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. We really try to connect audiences and artists and get provide a little extra context for why we do the work that we do, because none of it is arbitrary. It's all really specifically chosen and crafted, and we're trying to create art that really means something and speaks to people. So thanks for listening. The show is June 13th through 15th at Grace Cathedral. You can get your tickets online now on the Grace Cathedral website, which I hope someone from my team can drop into the chat. And then Claudia, whenever we're ready, just take it away. And besides I Do Sing America, we've got our New Roots Theater Festival this November. And that's November 14th through 17th. And we turned 10 years old this year. We're having a gala, but it's going to be an SF Batco version of a gala, a fun gala. The 10-year turn up, come through September 20th, Verity Club. Those tickets will go on sale right after I Do Sing America. It's going to be a ball. We have some amazing talent lined up.
And this thing on. Hello, hello. All right. So this is our company. Let's wave, everybody. Say hello to everyone. Yes, this is our company of I To Sing America. We're going to perform the title number, I To Sing America. This is composed by Othello Jefferson. He's standing here in the middle. And we're going to do some dancing and some singing. We're going to see if we're in frame. Are we all right? We're all right? All right. Shall we do it? All right.
I can stand with pride. I will no longer hide. Let nothing break my stride. I to sing, I to sing. I'll walk in dignity with my humanity. I'll be forever free, 'cause I to sing, I to sing. Sorrow, doubt, and fear replaced by joy and cheer. My voice now all will hear. Time to sing. Time to sing America. Time to sing. Time to sing America.
Woo!
Okay, that was one of our songs. That was a very, very, very first number, I to Sing America, obviously the title number. The second number, Othello, would you like to introduce us to it? Sure. Awesome. This is our composer, our lyricist, not lyricist, our music director, Othello Jefferson. Do I have to go down? Okay.
All right. We are, the next selection we're going to do is called Bloodlines, and it was created by members of one of the casts of I Too Sing America. And it's basically celebrating being of mixed heritage and the parents that you grew up with in that mixed heritage family.
I remember the freckles on your face, how I'd caress them and make them mine. I remember your hazel eyes. Mother, mother, would your ancestors recognize? Would they see the stripes of your jaw on my face? Would they only see the shade?
I remember the way you bore their stairs. Did they question if you were mine? I remember your big brown eyes. Father, your voice sang us out of bed. Won't you come down and rest your head? The way you held my hand, the way you kissed my cheek, the way you brought me into this world, it was so bittersweet. The way you held my best friend, you belong. I was crazy. It was so bittersweet. I remember the darkness of your skin, not fair next to my mother, so light. I remember your upworn hand. Father, Father, I didn't know then, to have your hands, your skin, I would be so proud, so proud. The way you held my hand, the way you kissed my cheek, the way you brought me into this world, it was so bittersweet. The way you held my hand, your hand kissed my cheek, held the world, you brought me now belongs to me. It was so bittersweet. The way you held my hand.
Woo!
Thank you, thank you. Wow, thank you so much. Take a bow, take a bow. Where's everybody? Come in, come in, come in. Come in. Take a bow.
The chat is going
Yeah.
crazy. The chat's going crazy. Wow.
So that was just a small little piece of our full show, I Do Sing America. The full show is around an hour and 10-ish minutes. Those were just two of the numbers, two of some of our favorite numbers in this whole show. So we got to get back to rehearsal. But if y'all have any questions for us or anything you would like to know, want to ask or anything, we'll give y'all a little more minutes, a couple more minutes. What we got? Anything? 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 Well, we hope you guys enjoyed. Much appreciated. See I Do Sing America, Grace Cathedral, June 13th through the 15th. Thank you so much. Go to sfbacko.org to learn more. Rodney Earl Jackson Jr. Christine, come here. Christine, Chung.
We did get a question.
Oh,
Tickets
we have one question.
online. Tickets.
Tickets be available on for online streaming, or are we doing anything like that?
Oh, that is a good question. I do not believe we are doing any online streaming for this show. You have to come to the theater to see this one. But who knows? There may be more opportunities in the future beyond this one. But we want to see you there, June 13th through June 15th.
Someone said, looking forward to seeing you all at Grace.
Awesome. Thanks. Looking forward to seeing you all too. Thank you so very much.
Thank
all right,
you all.
we're gonna get back to rehearsals.
All right.
Adam.
Thank you all. Have a good night. We'll see you at Grace Cathedral, June 13th to 15th. Thank you. Bye-bye.